Now, most people don't know this, but the global economy spends $2 trillion or north of $2 trillion every single year getting data into the warehouse. And only 3% of your company, on average, can get it out, right? Everyone else is stuck staring at a dashboard that tells them what happened last week. And in 2026, that's not good enough. So we help companies solve that problem. Here's how it works. So Zenlytic is an agentic analytics platform built around Zoe, your personal AI data analyst. Right? The way this works is you can come in here and you can ask any question you want. You can say, hey, Zoe, I'm trying to figure out how our marketing channels and campaigns have been performing over the last few months. Can you help me out? And Zoe can help me out. So what she'll do is she's connected to all your company's kind of data sets and context layers, and she'll go in and she'll say, okay, first I'm going to figure out like what data we have connected to. Then I'm going to try to figure out a query that I can run to help me understand how the performance has been. And then when she does that analysis, she's actually going to show her work in this right-hand panel. So I'm going to very quickly understand, without reading a single line of SQL, although you can view it if you want, how our marketing channels and campaigns are performing. Right? I don't need to, because the way Zoe shows her work, I don't need to then go to my data team and say, hey, I asked the agent this question. I don't really know if it got the right answer. Can you double check this for me? What Zoe does is she gives me, the non-technical end user, a very clear line of sight into the actual fields she's using. And if the fields have a green check mark, that means that this field is going to be calculated deterministically the same way every single time, and that someone on my data team has verified it, so I can trust the results. Right? And it doesn't. We gotta have this belief that it doesn't matter how sexy and cool and high tech your AI agents are. If people don't understand them, they're not going to trust them. And if they don't trust them, they're just not going to use them. And so that's a core thing that we focus on, making the work they do explainable so that, yes, you can get magical analysis really, really fast, but you don't need to then go check on your data team and say, hey, did it do it right or wrong? Right? Okay. Now, this is still a really simple question, right? The value of this technology and the value of AI in general, the most powerful innovation in potentially world history, is not answering simple questions that your dashboard already tells you. It's answering net new questions that traditional BI never could, right? And to give you an example of what that looks like, I went in here and I said, hey, I need you to build a board report for Q1 of 2026. And I need you to look at customer acquisition, regional performance, product performance, channel and campaign efficiency. Then I want you to use web search to understand how we're doing relative to other cosmetic companies. Now, the fun part, because the World Cup is coming around the corner, I want you to put this into an interactive New York Times style article, because my CFO reads the New York Times every morning, with World Cup themes, right? And then I want you to include a section with recommendations based on root cause drivers and 2 important questions we should follow deeper on. Zoe then goes, does all this analysis, and puts together my New York Times FIFA themed board report. That is interactive. I can click through the different sections. It tells me what's going on. Each of these different visualizations are interactive. We can drill into them. And then she also provides a summary of what's working and what's not. For example, TikTok, high urgency. We should cut immediately because we are hemorrhaging money, right? Zoe will call that out and then actually help me understand follow-up questions we should be asking to better understand what we do about it. You can also do stuff like this, right? You can go into the response here and you can say, hey, Zoe, you're telling me TikTok is bleeding money? Build an Excel model with a handful of reallocation scenarios if I were to pause TikTok for the next 6 months, and help me understand the business impact of those different strategies. And then Zoe can go build out a full model for me in Excel that I can open up, and it will give me a view of the different scenarios that Zoe is recommending, a summary, scenarios in detail, monthly projections, and some sensitivity analysis as well, right? So she'll go end to end with this analysis. And all of it, whenever anybody wants to know, okay, I'm looking at this New York Times style article and we see these figures here and I want to know where these are coming from, so it's not AI being confidently wrong, they can click on sources and they can go right back to the query that was generated to pull those figures. So they can always go back and actually audit the agent's work. Great. Now, with all this analysis, these aren't kind of artifacts that you build and live in the context of one conversation. These can be built and saved and shared across the company with all the permissions and with all the permissions applied, right? And so you can go into the artifact gallery here and you can open up different artifacts, right? Maybe we like this dashboard and we want to schedule this for delivery at a specific cadence. We can do that. And we can manage all the access controls, who sees what, directly from this view here. And so this has all your different artifacts, dashboards, presentations, spreadsheets, whatever you have, they all live here where they can be shared, refreshed, and distributed, right? Now the question you might have is, okay, this looks really cool, but what does setup look like for Zenlytic? How do you actually get Zoe off the ground? Let me see if I can bring my face with me on this. Yep, okay. So the way you set up Zenlytic is you talk to it. You talk to Zoe. You don't need to be a YAML expert that knows how to write, DBT metric flow syntax or LookML anymore. You can just tell Zoe what you want. You can give her instructions on how you define your core metrics, and she can figure it out. And as long as you're an admin, you can adjust the semantic model like that. For example, you can take a PDF of metric definitions that you pulled from some other reporting tool, and you can say, hey, Zoe, this is how we calculate some of our core metrics. Can you go and add that to the context layer? And Zoe will go, she'll read all the information from this PDF I uploaded, and then she'll go and add that context to the semantic model. So she'll go into the views, she'll add, the different information here, and now this will be live and shared across all the users that are talking to Zoe, so everyone can benefit from it. And two, everyone is on the same sheet of music, right? You don't have one agent doing analysis for the marketing team and another one doing analysis for the COO that are calculating things differently and giving people different numbers for the same sort of analysis. Everyone is on the same sheet of music. And the process to build out that context layer so that everyone is on the same sheet of music is really simple. You just give files to Zoe, give context, give PDFs, tell her, hey, remember this when we're doing analysis, and she'll figure out where to place that in the context layer so that it works. Cool. Hope that is helpful. Talk soon. Or not talk soon. Bye.